let's get started. I will be very brief. I'll just want to say welcome all of you, and and also say that we put in an enormous amount of work into preparing this campaign. This is actually learned from the last campaign where we felt we didn't consult people to the extent we should have, and also that we are quite keen on ensuring that there's ownership from your side on this campaign and that it fits into the work that you're doing. So without further ado, Vale, I don't know if it's you or Liz who will take us through this the campaign and the slides here, which talks about the thinking behind the campaign, sort of the feedback we have received from you, and also some of the activities that we're proposing. So thank you.
Hi, I think it's gonna be me. Can you hear me? Well, can you see the screen? Because we had a couple of, can you see the screen with the presentation? Just nod. So as Lotte mentioned, we have worked on Commit to Act phase 2. Last year was the first time that we launched a campaign as the Alliance. And obviously we learned a lot during the process about how important it was to make it available in different languages, how important it was to work from the beginning with the members, explain a bit more the activations and give a bit more of guidance on what we were imagining, right? So that's why this year we decided to have this walkthrough, to have the opportunity to explain from our vision what is how we imagine the campaign, and also how you were part of it, of the creation of the campaign as well, because at the beginning of the year in April, we had the coffee break sessions, then we had a couple of posts that were 100% about the campaign, and we tried to include all your inputs and all your reflections into this. Having said that, let's start the first slide. So this is a new campaign. Here we'll talk about that at the beginning of the year, as I mentioned, a lot of our members were requesting to have a unified message to relaunch the road safety agenda. Mainly because of the situation, that we all know about the COVID and the pandemic. So what are the objectives of this campaign? First, we want to build on the momentum from the 2019 Commit to Act. Commit to Act within the road safety community has become something known. Different stakeholders talk about it, and they know that Commit to Act is road safety. The same way that they know 50 by 30 is road safety, they know this as well. We also want to provide support and tools for you to be able to restart restart or reignite the road safety agenda in your countries. Right now is a good timing because we recently have the UN resolution that practically picks everything up from the Stockholm Declaration. So we do have an important milestone at a global level that can be easily leverage in your own countries, and we want to lead to local and national government commitments and accountability for safe road implementation. This goes very aligned with the commitment tracker and what many of you have started last year gathering commitments. So what are the themes? They are like 3 themes, and you can choose or adapt the one that fits the best for you. The first one is that we're introducing the concept of right. We have been talking about this in Stockholm. The speech in the closing that Lotte delivered in name of the Alliance and the civil society talked about that road safety is a right. So we should start looking road safety as a right. Then we also want to kind of introducing the concept of this new normal, right? We have this new normal after COVID, and we want to help people to understand that there's a new way to coexist and travel after the pandemic. There's this critical thinking where we need to make the cities more centered on people, not on cars, where we know that road safety can support other issues when we shift to an active mobility. So it's also helping equality, it's also helping gender, environment, etc. And finally, we want to push and support with the UN resolution and the Stockholm Declaration in the roadmap for progress. Sorry if I stop a little bit. I'm just admitting people also in the room. Okay, so what is the consolidated message that we're talking about? This message is based on the UN resolution and the Stockholm Declaration, and what it's going to do is to emphasize the members' priorities from a research survey that we had. So it presents the key elements in a way that anyone can read it. You know, the average person on the street that never heard about road safety or road crashes or road fatalities, they can understand what we're talking about. So below here, you can see on the screen the message that we're talking about. And it's very simple. We stand up for the right to be safe on our roads, the protection of those in most danger on our roads, and our leaders must act now to save lives by reducing road deaths and serious injuries by 50% by 2030, support those whose lives are physically or emotionally damaged by road crashes, and transform our streets and journeys based on evidence and minimizing the effect of human error. And the hashtag we're going to use is commit to act again. And the taglines are going to be our roads, our right, or safety is our right. That is up to the preference in each country. Just important here, the message itself, this one that says we stand up for our leaders must act, that's going to be translated in different languages. The taglines as well, but the hashtag commit to act has to be always in English. So it has to be this one, because this is the way that we can track the impact of the campaign in the different platforms. Basically, we use Twitter, Facebook. Some of our members use Instagram, but road safety is a community that works most around Twitter and Facebook. So as mentioned before, it's one campaign, but we have many languages. The idea is that the message and the tagline will be translated. We will present the French, Spanish, and Portuguese version. Other languages, we are welcome to help us with the translation. And all the materials that we're going to provide to you, all the graphic designs, the declaration, everything that you can use, it's in a format that you can edit it. Okay, so many things are like done as PPTs, as PowerPoint slides, so you can edit it, and we will give you the font. And it's about, I think this part is about what we learned from last time, that it's important for our members to be able to adapt it to the reality. So here you can see the different hashtags. So in English, commit to act, and then the taglines. I'm not gonna say it in French because my pronunciation is terrible. Spanish is La seguridad vial es nuestro derecho. And in Portuguese, this is something that we will work with our Portuguese speaking members to have it that as well. So what's the consolidated message? So we come again with a declaration that is based on that consolidated message that we talked about, that we stand for. We stand up for, and our leaders must act now. And here, if you see in the slide, in the middle it says NGO rights, local issue and demand here, right? The idea is that this declaration, you as user can put whatever is your main demand according to your reality. And that main demand also include everything else we talked about. So for instance, if your main demand is we demand 20 kilometers in residential areas, that should be kind of the heading of the declaration. And then it includes what we stand up for and what our leaders must act now. So that is the idea on how we have that there. If you have any questions related to these, send it through the chat. I'm just trying to read here. Yeah. Okay, so next slide. So now that we have talked about the message, the consolidated message, let's talk about what are the activations, right? In all the campaigns that we have done, we usually have offline activations, the face-to-face, and online activations. On the activations that we're proposing, we try to make them flexible. It's important for the members to feel ownership. So whatever activation you choose to do, you have to feel it like it's relevant to you, and it's according to your identity, to your brand message, to your values, etc. What we're going to do as Alliance, we're going to provide coordination if needed, tools, which is all the graphic designs and experience, and we are going to boost the publicity, because if you use the hashtag commit to act, we can replicate that easily. Then the activations have to be flexible, you know, the flexibility that we're talking. We recognize that we are 235 member organizations, so we have members in different moments, different levels. So that's why we are providing a different, big menu of activities. And again, we recognize different levels of activations. One type of activations are going to be focused for awareness. So to create awareness about the new normality, the UN resolution, the things we stand up for. Other types of activations are going to be focused on mobilization, so to mobilize your community. And finally, there are going to be some focus on leadership. we do recognize the limitations. So this year we know that many NGOs won't be able to do face-to-face activities. That's why we know that some activities won't work in a lot of countries. And that's why in the next slides, you're gonna see that we divide between online and offline activations. And then we want to have a unified identity, because that is what it gives the campaign the global look. So that is why it's important to use the Commit to Act logo, to use the colors that we provide, to use the font that we provide. That is what makes it recognizable in different countries, and someone can say, oh, yeah, this is the same campaign. I hope that makes sense. So let's talk about the awareness activations, right? So by awareness, what we want is to people to understand, get informed, and know the problematic, right? So offline. For the offline activations, we've been thinking of using the hand, right? The Commit to Act hand. So there's some things that could be done depending on the type of organization that you have, or what you're willing to do. For instance, one idea that we had was paint the sidewalk with chalks, you know, paint the hands everywhere with a message. And by that, I'm saying like, it's like painting one block or like one street. And that would be probably done from a night to a morning. So then the next day people wake up and they see that. And this could, something that could work, I don't know, next to the parliament, next to the road safety agency, outside of a school that had a lot of problems or that has improved the school area. Whatever you want to highlight, it could be next to, I don't know, a highway, or like the exit of a highway that we know that there are no good infrastructure, or this is something that you can use it in an unusual place that you consider that will get the attention mainly of media and decision makers. Another option is to print these hands and put these hands in an unusual spot. Again, these are these kind of like activations that you are walking on the street and you see something that's, okay, what this is about, and that gets the attention and people tend to read what's going on. Another option, this one is more focused for those of you working with school children. It could be coloring sheets, balloons, or other ways of using the handprint and creating murals at school. So the same, a little bit kind of the same way that happened with the rainbow. We're not trying to compete, or we're not trying to be the rainbow, but we've seen that, yeah, that type of engagement, like painting, works especially with children. And another option is engaging with other organizations, other type of organizations, for them to start displaying the hand. Then another type of activation that takes a bit more effort would be painting a mural. So that would be a more coordinated action with a school, with an institution, or whatever. You could find a mural, and you could have a mural with the Commit to Act hand and your demand. And then a treasure hunt. This could work probably at very community level, where you can spot handprints in different places, and each handprint could have information, a piece of information of the reality in your city. So like you're doing the treasure hunt, and in the end, probably you find someone like the new normal, like this is possible. These are just ideas, right? It's not set in stone. Finally, photo contest using the handprint, that also can help. On the online side, we are going to provide an infographic builder. So we have developed all the countries our members are from in 3 different colors as an image, and also I think it's almost 20 different icons that represent a different issue. So you can create your infograph to emphasize whatever issue you want to show in your country. At the end of the presentation, we're going to show you an example of what this infograph can look like. Okay, for mobilization, again, we have offline and online. In the offline side, for mobilization, first would be great to mobilize media champions, right? So engage a media champion. This could be an Anchor's News, this could be a journalist, someone that could cover any of your activities. Because with this way, you can secure and guarantee media presence. Then another option is having a public event. This is a bit more tricky because of the times we're living at, but this could be selecting a road and organize an event to show the problems and what needs to be done. So again, this is similar to what we're talking with the hands, but in this case, it's just selecting a road, and you invite the media and you say, look, in this road, as you're like an observational research study you could be doing there, observing what's happening in that, let's say, that corner, and you invite the media to show what's going on. Another option could be doing a road assessment, a community road assessment, for instance, with school children for their school zone. And then this one is the street transformation. So organize a street transformation day. For example, in one community, you could organize a car-free day or a cycling day, or you can choose the topic. And again, for any of these activities of mobilization, it's good to secure one journalist or one media champion, because that's going to give you visibility. It doesn't matter how big the event is, as long as it's well covered, because at the end is what people read on the news. And then online, we're gonna have different social media posts that we're gonna show it in the next couple of slides, that we're going to invite community members to take a handprint photo that it would say "Our roads, our rights," and they can share that on social media. So basically, the person will be standing in front of the camera and would write here, our roads, our rights, and that can be shared on social media. But we have some examples to share it with you. Also, we're gonna ask for social media videos. That would be to take a short video in the community. Another option is create a petition about a local or national issue on change.org. This is what we saw at the beginning with the consolidated message. Yes, we can also do social media storm days, coordinated actions. It's basically that you decide to talk on Twitter, for instance, during one day on one specific topic. And you can have 1 hour of conversation where you're like tweeting and answering to those making comments on your tweets and information that you're providing. This is great, for example, to discuss a specific topic and invite other organizations. Or if you have a research study and you want to release the results, the storm days are actually also a good way, because you're releasing data and you get the attention. And then in terms of leadership, we have, again, offline and online. On the offline side, we are encouraging you to build coalitions, in-country coalitions with non-road safety partners. Why? Because thinking of the UN resolution, right, and the Stockholm Declaration that includes different social issues besides road safety, and thinking of the UN Road Safety Week coming up next year, it would be great to start building this coalition. So once we arrive to the UN Road Safety Week, we have other partners to support our cause. So it's about like building bridges with different organizations. And now we have kind of like the mindset with the Stockholm Declaration and the UN resolution, where road safety is recognized as a holistic issue that have different aspects. Also on the offline side, you can collect commitments. You can do a new roundtable and get smart commitments with your national or local authorities. And it could be, you could have an accountability event where you can have a face-to-face meeting, or where you can talk about the commitments that were made last year. And then on the online side, we encourage you to add commitments to the commitment tracker. That's the way for us to show the world how we're moving forward and the progress. And also to compare, we can see some regions where there is more political will and some regions where there's not. And also you can run, well, this is something that we're going to run, sorry, it's the Round the World Roundtable Revisited. We're going to run a high-level online event with national decision makers to explain progress on commitments, and they can be questioned by NGOs. We are organizing this particular event, and more information will be announced soon. Okay, so I'm gonna show you now how to do the social media handprint photos, right? So as I mentioned, what we want is to use a symbol, which is the hand that we had it last year in the Commit to Act logo, but now we're talking about from commitments to action. Okay, this is our action. We're gonna act and write on our hands. We have two examples here. Safety is our right, or our roads, our right. This is the tagline that can be translated to every single language, right? So it's not necessarily you have to take the picture in English. Here, my recommendation is to do with a thick dark pen, like a Sharpie, because it's the way to have like that you can read it properly. You have to stand in front of the camera. This is very important, and place yourself like well center, something like that. It doesn't matter if they cannot see your face. The important is like what is read there. And you have to look at the camera and take the picture. It can be horizontally or vertical. And you can share it on your social media, tagging us, so Road Safety NGOs, and using the Commit to Act hashtag. We really encourage you, and we actually asking you to send us pictures like this in the next 2, 3, 4 days, because we're going to use these pictures for the first phase of the campaign. So it's great to have the pictures in different languages, to have different backgrounds. This, I took it here in Spain. As you can see, we used a bicycle lane and also a pedestrian crossing. But whatever you can show that it's like on the street and is related to road safety, it's great. It could be next to a sign of helmet. It could be next to a sign of speed limit, whatever you want to highlight again. And we're really counting on you to send us your pictures. Then here we have how to do the short video, right? I cannot show you now the video here because I'm sharing screen, but we will send it, it will be available online so you can check it. You have to prepare your answer before, so write it down so you have it. And you have to start with I stand up for, or our right to safe roads means, right? Or in my community, or in Montevideo, my city, or in my country, those most in danger on the roads are. The idea is to have these very short clips that it cannot be more than 20 seconds. And it has to be 2 sentences where you are able to highlight the main issue in your city or in your country, or the main issue you want to work on. That's why we say, and we want all the videos to start the same way, right? So either I stand up for, or our right to safe roads means, or in my country, or leaders in my country must act too. So that is very important. So you have to record your video in your own language. The camera should be held horizontally. That is also important because we're gonna have better quality. You have to look to the camera. And then it's important to let run 2 seconds before and after you're speaking. Again, if you can, some of you can prepare one video and send it to us. We are going to be using it also for the launch of the campaign. Well, that's me. Clearly this was winter when I took this video. And now let's see how to the infographic builder, right? So as I mentioned, you can see on one side of the screen that there's a map of a country that is Argentina. You're gonna see 3 different icons, which are the ones that we selected, and there's a heading, right, a title. So with the infographic builder, we want to create awareness on a specific topic. So you have to think about the message and what you want to tell your audience, right? We know that, for instance, some countries are working more on pedestrians, some countries members are working more on drunk driving, on helmets, and so on. So the idea is to use the infographic builder to showcase or highlight your message. We suggest that your message starts with a question. So for instance, here we have, are our roads ready for the post-pandemic new normal, right? And then we suggest to provide hard data that you have from your research studies, from the data that it's provided from your government, to highlight these issues. And that is related to the icons that you can see here play. So this is not real information from Argentina, but what we do was talking about if the roads are ready, right, for this new normal. So we talked about what happens for cyclists. So only X amount of cities have bike lanes, or X amount of people using motorcycle to avoid public transportation, or X amount of people say that they will walk more when the lockdown is over. The idea with this is to kind of like show how like the importance of creating cities for people and not for cars, for instance. That was the aim of this infograph. Yes, of course, we're gonna send the presentation, yes, of course, and you will receive the manual. This is the activation manual, so it will go for everyone. So the first thing is finding relevant local or national data to show the problem. Then choose your icons. We are gonna have, the icons are in different colors, so the idea is that you can choose the map in the color that highlights the icons. Add your facts next to the icons, and then you can add the organization's logo and the SDGs. The idea is once that you have done that, you can do that in PowerPoint. You can then convert it into a JPG file or PNG. Okay, I have more questions here. Let me check. Okay, it was Lotte answering, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna show you two more examples. One more example, sorry, of two more examples of how it would look. This is how it would look as a post. So this one would be, did you know that? And this one has basic information about speed limits, crashes, and post-crash care. But again, as you can see on the bottom part, we have the Commit to Act logo, you have the Global Alliance logo, the global goals, and then you have space to put your logo. Ideally, it would be your logo in white, but if you don't have that, we could find a way to, like, yeah, you need to place the logo with a white background.